I'm not big on child abuse. I mean, I'm not big on corporal punishment for kids or whatever. They call it corporal punishment for kids, but if you do it to a grown-up, it's called assault.
Right.
So that's a little effed up. And it's effed up that we use violence on kids to get them to do what we want. No matter what you say, that's effed up. Oh, it's just a spanking. Well, if it's just a spanking, why are you doing it? If it doesn't hurt, why are you doing it? Oh, it hurts. Well, then that's effed up. So either way, you can't, well, what if the kid's running out in the middle of the street? You ever hear that? What if my kid's running out in the middle of the street? Yeah, go punch him. What? What are you doing? What do you mean?
Here's 1/25th of the impact of a car on your head.
Yes. I'll
harm you instead. If you go out there, I'll kill you.
And I think it's Todd Glass who made the point of, you would never say that. You only say that about your kid. You would never say that about my girlfriend. She's going to run out in traffic. That's why I hit her. She's running out in traffic. I had to hit her. Come on.
Unless you're Trump.
That's how you show you love her.
So I'm big thumbs down on that. And by the way, all the scientific literature is on my side. That in fact, the more corporal punishment, the more you hit a kid, the more it F's a kid up. It makes them worse, and it makes them more violent later on, causes depression, anxiety, all that stuff. Nothing good comes from hitting someone.
Well, isn't that because you're not supposed to hit them when you're angry?
That's another thing people say. I would never hit my kids unless I'm angry. Really? You wait till you're in a good mood, you fucking Nazi? Really?
Right. When are you not angry is the other question. Yeah. Someone who phrases that way is always angry.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
There's no break in the clouds.
Of course you're angry. You're hitting someone.
Yeah.
Who's sitting around going, oh, I can't. Yeah. I'm laughing my ass off. Hey, get my kids in here. I'm going to beat the shit out of them. I'm in a good mood.
Yeah.
So you want to screw a kid up, giggle while you're hitting him. Am I right, Rick?
That's good. Thanks, Dad. I didn't know Dad was the Joker.
What are you laughing about, Dad? I'm laughing about something else.
I'm an agent of chaos.
So this is why this I was reading the HuffPo, and I see this, right? So this viral photo of a child being dragged by their hair through Walmart leads to a Child Protective Services investigation, and it says she was crying. So she was crying and begging him to stop, said the woman who uploaded the photos to Facebook. I said, oh, hell no.
Makes you wonder what they didn't catch. This is the part he'll allow people to see in a store.
This is his public performance of parenting.
This is the on-camera him.
Yeah, so, this is the one that demonstrates his skill level of parenting and problem solving.
And that has probably, it only just gets infinitely worse once the door closes in either the car or the house. Once he knows he's in private.
It's his own style of parenting.
Yeah. I think that merits an investigation. Dragging a kid by the hair out somewhere. Well, she's being a brat. Where'd she pick that up from, psycho?
Yeah, no shit, right?
Acting out on the dad who pulls her hair to lead her somewhere? She might act out after that? Well, then again, you got to go up the chain and how dad messed him up and how his dad messed him up.
Right.
And so we have this, a social line. When an adult male does something, we only give you so much leeway for how you were formatted to become what you are after a certain point. Well, I think adults have to stand to a different standard regardless of what led them there.
I'm sure he took the required parenting exam before he became a parent, With
the training wheels.
Yeah. I know he probably has a driver's license and he had to at least study a 5-page booklet to pass that test. I'm sure he took some sort of class on proper parenting exactly. And he failed it, but...
Yeah, but my penis still works. My testicles fired off anyhow. Yeah, it's a shame that there are generations of children placed in a setting from parents who came up without a culture that showed them any better.
Yeah.
He is the result of what just floats to the top no matter what. Instead of, you gave it a purpose, and something to do. And this is unguided and non-ballistic, just a wild shotgun blast of a parent.
So
using his philosophies for things like snag the kid's hair and walk him down the aisle and stuff like that. Like, that's a good move in public.
No kidding. So I like what you were saying before about how he'll
let us see this.
This is what he'll let us see in public.
So what are we not seeing?
Imagine what we're not seeing. Yeah. Exactly. What is he doing to this kid? So this is the story The uproar began after a woman named Erica Birch posted the photos to her Facebook page on Monday of this guy doing this. She's a 24-year-old mother of 4. She said she was shopping at a Walmart in Cleveland, Texas, and she noticed a man had his young child's hair wrapped around the handle of a shopping cart he was pushing. I saw this little girl slouched over and her dad was gripping her hair on the cart while he shopped. She was crying. Oh. I saw this little girl slouched over and her dad was gripping her hair. She was crying and begging him to stop. I said, oh, hell no. So she immediately went over and confronted the guy.
Oh, that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, that does, especially that guy looks pretty big. Look at that look how little that little girl is, and he's pulling her hair. The whole time he's shopping, he's pulling her hair.
Right.
What an asshole.
Well, what happened?
She said she confronted him. I said to him, hey, you need to let go of her hair. He looked at me and said, no, bitch, you need to mind your business. Oh. I said, no, this is my effing business, and I got my phone out. Later, after the officers questioned the man, this woman says that a sergeant with the Cleveland Police Department told her they were unable to arrest him because the child had no visible injuries. So, if you remember, not too long ago in Ohio at a Walmart, there was a black kid walking around with a BB gun that they sell at the store.
You shot him.
And the cop showed up and shot him without asking him a question, here's a white guy walking around abusing a kid. The cops show up, nothing we can do. Why don't you shoot him? Shoot him and plant a BB gun. And by the way, nothing happened to those cops who killed that black kid. So here, cops show up, there's a guy abusing him. Like the cops, if there's anybody that you're going to unlawfully assault as a cop, wouldn't it be this guy? Wouldn't you, if there's anyone you're going to plant something on or drum up a charge, wouldn't it be this guy? No. The cop's like, there's no marks on her. I can't do nothing. So the woman said, I was livid. The cop had seen the photos on my phone. I told him, you've got to be kidding me. This is not discipline. This is abuse. In a follow-up interview with the police, Birch claims investigators showed her surveillance video they obtained from Walmart. She says you could see this man drag this little girl from one end of the Walmart all the way to the other, and she's 5 years old.
By her hair.
What makes it worse is that this child is supposedly autistic. So here's what the Cleveland police ended up saying. The Cleveland Police Department has received numerous calls in regards to a child having her hair pulled last night at the Cleveland Walmart. We want to assure the community this case is currently being investigated by our detective division. Child Protective Services has been contacted per our policy and is also investigating this case. A joint investigation is currently being conducted by both agencies, and it wouldn't have happened unless this woman did something, because those cops weren't going to do anything because there wasn't a black kid with a gun they couldn't shoot. So when there comes a chance cops could do something, they don't.
Beware when someone takes your video capability away, because it is the musket of the 21st century.
Yes.
That's what,
and they're doing that now.
Beware anyone that's removing it, and find a supplemental way to continue videotaping.
Right. Well, Facebook is now in cahoots with the cops. If the cops tell them to turn off the live stream on their Facebook, they do it.
Well, we'll find another version. Someone will make something new. That you can't stop digital online progress without it looking like that's exactly what you're doing. Everyone that sees it start to lock down will brace for what will be a fascist takeover after that. Those will be all the precursorial signs, you know. And so I think it's a mistake to do any of it now, because everything has been so unset. The gearing of this thing that's happening, this violent, mean thing, being mean doesn't work correctly anymore. Being dismissive, being passive-aggressive doesn't work. Shaming has backfired monumentally. Using threats of violence isn't going correctly. Being bad has ceased to function as a mode of getting what one wants in return on any level. And it's just, and for the ones that are programmed only to do one thing, like a junkyard dog, it'll be the roughest on them. This transition.
You think we're making a transition right now from people acting?
There's more enlightened people I have met now than I remember.
Well, Eckhart Tolle says that. You know who that is?
Yes, of course, I met him.
Now Jimmy's jealous and he's vibrating at a lower level because of that jealousy.
He's vibrating at a lower level. That's the air conditioner. Vibrating your lower level.
So he says that now our evolution now isn't physical, it's consciousness, and that we all need to wake up to who we really are, and it's happening more often now, he says.
The thumb works, standing up straight, tail's gone.
Yeah.
There's only one thing we use 10% of.
Our brain?
Yeah.
So he says that, So he says that if we don't evolve this way, we don't recognize who we are, come to a higher consciousness, or recognize our true consciousness, our true nature, that if we don't, we'll perish.
Right.
But that's also okay, because that's part of evolution. I like what you have a great line. You say, nature, it's not politically correct. It's just correct.
It's just actually correct, yeah. Right. It doesn't care which species makes it. Another one will come along.
Mm-hmm.
It's in our own best interest to not be that. It won't be we won't be measured in the long run as being right wing, left wing. It'll be easy to fool, hard to fool.
Yeah, easy to fool, hard to fool.
The survivors will be hard to fool.
So that's a nice way to end this horrible story.